Over the past decade and a half, I've had the incredible privilege of meeting Christians all over the world who are persecuted because of their faith in Jesus. And due to security and other reasons, I don't often have the chance to really get to know them, although their stories are very impacting. But there are occasions when I do have that chance to spend some time with them and develop a bond and friendship. And one of those people that's real special to me is this lady here. This is Mrs. Lee. She's an elderly lady from North Korea. And I think when you hear her story, you'll understand why she is so special to me. I first met Mrs. Lee at Underground University, where North Korean defectors trained for ministry. Mrs. Lee was 85 when she received her diploma in 2015. Although she is Korean, she was born in China and would move to North Korea in 1954 when she was 24, along with her Korean husband and 2 daughters. Her husband was sent by the Chinese government to work there, and life was very difficult. A 3rd daughter would be born in North Korea.
The North Korean government thinks family background is most important. And since we came from China, they didn't treat us very well. My husband was good at farming, but wasn't paid properly. We didn't get good things from the government.
Mrs. Lee has experienced many difficulties and hardships during her life in North Korea, including the death of her husband of 45 years in 1997, and her oldest daughter was killed in a house fire in 2000. Mrs. Lee's leg was badly broken when rice sacks fell on it, and she spent months in hospital. The leg didn't heal properly, and she had difficulty walking for many years. Just trying to survive, especially after her husband passed away, was not easy. In 2002, she decided to go back to China with her youngest daughter and 3 of her grandchildren. Once in China, her youngest daughter got a job working for a Christian businessman who encouraged Mrs. Lee to come to church and that her family would be blessed. By then, her eyesight was also failing, and her leg wasn't getting any better.
He didn't explain about God or Jesus or Christian things. But I was touched when he said that my descendants would be blessed if I went to church on that Friday.
Up to this point, Mrs. Lee, now in her 70s, had never met a Christian and knew nothing about Christianity.
I had been in North Korea for 43 years, but I had never heard about Christianity or even the word Christianity.
Mrs. Lee received a Bible from the church, but wasn't interested in going back to the services because she didn't understand what was going on. She actually thought it was kind of weird. But that didn't stop the people from the church from asking if they could come visit her. Again, she wasn't interested. During the Chinese New Year, they brought her a gift, and her heart softened. After a lady in the church explained the gospel to her and Mrs. Lee wanting to go to heaven, she began attending the church services on a regular basis and would give her life to Christ. Her life was so transformed, she would share her testimony in the church. She had never spoken in a public gathering before.
When I shared my testimony in front of 100 people, I felt I was not sharing by my strength, but I felt God had me speak out in front of the people. I felt joy in my heart to share my testimony.
From that point on, Mrs. Lee wanted to tell people about Jesus and what he had done in her life. She became devoted to reading the Bible. She also tells a story about how the Lord healed her damaged leg and restored her eyesight.
Whenever I read the Bible, whenever I sing a praise song, I felt something was burning in my heart. I couldn't fold my leg, but now I could, and I was shocked. I called my daughter to come and see me, and she said, "God has healed you. God really loves you."
With a desire to share the gospel with North Korean defectors in South Korea, in 2010 she left China. Like all North Koreans, Mrs. Lee crossed into Thailand and had to turn herself in. She would be taken to prison and would remain there until the South Korean government permitted her to come to Seoul. In Mrs. Lee's case, she was in prison for 12 days.
In the prison in Thailand, I was in a small room. There were about 50 people there, and I preached, shared my testimony, and sang praise songs. After that, I came to South Korea to keep evangelizing people.
At a prayer meeting in Seoul, Mrs. Lee would find out about the Voice of the Martyrs Korea discipleship schools.
When I was in China, I had many experiences of the Holy Spirit, but I really didn't know how to preach or what to share with people. But since joining Underground University, it's been helpful to get some ideas how to reach out to people and what to share with them. I was also touched by reading Tortured for Christ and hearing the many guest speakers who work in the persecuted nations. I was really challenged by their stories and their ministries and what real Christian life looks like.
Mrs. Lee is very active in her ministry to North Koreans wherever they're found, including Seoul. On this occasion, she paid a visit to a lady who was battling depression. By the time she left, the lady was smiling and feeling a lot better. Mrs. Lee is grateful for the ministry God has given her in South Korea. Her heart still burns for the people of the North, especially because she still has family there.
Every day I pray for North Korea. The leaders of the government are very wicked people. So many believers have died for Christ in North Korea. There are many martyrs there. I pray every day for the North Korean people.